I arrived at the cabin expecting laughter, board games, and family chaos. Instead, the driveway was empty. Only children waited by the porch, my nieces, my nephews, faces confused, hands clutching half-unzipped duffels. Their parents were missing. My phone buzzed. Taking my new family to the Maldives. You babysit. The screen burned. My husband's name. My husband's cruelty spelled out in casual text. I didn't cry, not then, not in front of the children. My silence steadied them. I made hot chocolate, set them up with blankets and cartoons, then stepped onto the porch with my phone. The autumn air was thin, sharp, perfect for clarity. He thought I would fold. He thought I would wait. He thought wrong. I met David 10 years ago at a fundraiser. He was smooth, charming, the kind of man who never ordered a drink. He commanded it. He looked at me as though I were rare. Back then, I believed him. He promised stability. He promised loyalty. He promised I'd never have to carry the weight alone. I wore those promises like a shield. But shields rust when the hand that forged them lies. The first cracks were quiet. Late meetings, locked phones. His sudden interest in expensive watches when our mortgage still bled us dry. He stopped reaching for my hand in public. His laugh shifted, lighter, careless, not meant for me. One night I caught the perfume, not mine, not familiar, clinging to his shirt like evidence begging to be noticed. He brushed it off as work dinners. I pretended to believe him, pretended to sleep soundly beside him, pretended not to hear the midnight texts. What he never understood, I am not reckless with my suspicions. I collect. I wait. The plan began the moment my trust ended. I started with small steps. Passwords he didn't know I still had. Bank statements forwarded quietly to a secure folder. Conversations recorded. His careless boasts. His slip-ups when he thought I wasn't listening. Then came the children. His sister trusted me more than him. She always had. When I offered to watch the kids, she agreed without hesitation. That trust would matter. When he abandoned them in my care, he gave me the opening I needed. He thought he'd shackled me to babysitting duty. He'd actually handed me the keys. The first call went to Child Protective Services. "Hello, I'd like to report an incident. Multiple children left unattended. Their parents unreachable. Their legal guardian currently overseas." I gave them names, dates, the text he sent. My voice was calm, factual, not bitter. They logged everything. Case opened. The second call was colder, to the chair of his board. A man who already doubted David's leadership but lacked proof. I handed him proof. Financial discrepancies, offshore accounts, shell corporations hidden behind layers of arrogance. And then the third call. To her, the soulmate, the woman worth burning down his marriage for. Her LinkedIn had told me what I needed. Auditor, specializing in corporate fraud. I introduced myself not as wife, not as rival, but as informant. I believe your partner has accounts he hasn't disclosed. Would you like to see? Silence stretched on the line. Then a quiet, professional, "Send me everything." So I did. Their flight landed in Malay 3 days later. Sunlit paradise, turquoise water lapping at the shore. I imagine he reached for her hand, smiled at her like he once smiled at me. But she wasn't smiling back. She was scanning the files I'd sent, cross-checking every transaction. He didn't notice the trap tightening until the calls began. From his lawyers, from his board, from the SEC. His empire didn't collapse in a dramatic explosion. No, it crumbled piece by piece. Accounts frozen, board members demanding his resignation, CPS filing reports against him and his sister. Every door slammed shut. I wasn't there to see his face. I didn't need to be. The beauty of justice is that it doesn't require an audience. Weeks later, he showed up at my door. Not the man who once commanded rooms, but a husk. His suit wrinkled, tie loose, eyes bloodshot. "You did this," he rasped. I didn't deny it. "You ruined me." "No," I corrected, "you ruined yourself. I just showed them where to look." He searched my face for softness, for a crack in my armor. He found nothing. The divorce papers slid across the table 2 months later. I didn't demand alimony, didn't demand half of what remained. He had nothing left to give. And I already had what I wanted, freedom, and the satisfaction of knowing he'd choked on his own lies. As for the children, they remained safe. Their parents under supervision, humbled. None of them blamed me. They knew where the fault lay. At night, when the house is quiet, I pour a glass of wine and let the silence settle. I think of the Maldives, the sunlit beaches where he believed his new life would begin. I picture him there, phone buzzing, soulmate turning away.